So John, tell me a little bit about the history of Cronin's Golf Resort.
My grandfather designed the golf course in 1930. My dad bought it in 1945. It was a 9-hole course designed by my grandfather. He ran the place till 1988. My brother James and I took the place over. Like he says, it's a labor of love. All we do is we're here 7 days a week, just non-stop until it snows. Like I tell everybody, what days you guys get a day off? Yeah, when it snows. My dad turned golf pro years and years ago, and he got me involved into the golf game part and got my brother involved into the turf part. So I turned golf professional when I was 19 years old in 1981 and kept my card for 7 years, my apprenticeship cards. I passed my PAT on the second try. I went to school 1, passed that. Went to school 2, failed it. My dad was ill, sick. I never went back. And I finally just got rid of my card because I said at Cronin's, you don't need a pro. What does anybody ever ask for their card when they're taking a lesson? Pretty much, my mom ran the place with my dad for years. She's both deceased. And my sister-in-law works her behind off in the back kitchen area all the time. So pretty much it, really.
Now, your first childhood memory of picking up a golf club and swinging at a ball?
Pulling the pull cart around for my dad when he used to go out and shoot like 32s and 31s, and it made it look easy until we started hacking it around as kids, my brother and I, and shooting 45s and saying, geez, it's pretty tough to do with 31s and 32s. But I did eventually got my game going and did shoot some real low rounds, 33s, 32s out there.
Now, did your dad ever give it a go professionally?
I got a paper around the mess that I just had.
Tell me a little about your dad. Did he give it a go professionally?
He did local, and he was real good at it, but he had an awful temper, unfortunately. He'd go out and shoot, 4 or 5 birdies in a row and then have that bogey because he 3-putted, and then, with Irish temper would kick in, and he was pretty much done for the day. But he could play, boy, he was amazing. And some of these par 5s out here, my brother and I, we have one that was called the 7th hole years ago. It's 555 yards. He used to knock it on there in 2 all the time. And to this day, my brother and I think we can hit it long, but we've teed balls up in the fairway after we hit a long drive. Neither one of us have ever reached it too, so pretty amazing with the old equipment. You see, nowadays, equipment goes so much farther.
Yep.
I don't know.
Now, you run this in the summer, and then you winter in South Florida. And you did that as a kid growing up? Did you do it all your life, or at what age did you start?
In 1981 down there, I started working as an assistant pro for Vince Pompa. He's from Rochester, New York, at Royal Palm Beach Golf Club. And then I moved there and started working for a fellow named Jim Cassia that was a Class A professional from down in, he was down in the middle of the state of New York, down in my Mohansick, I guess, golf course, and worked for him for about 4 or 5 years. And then I went over to the Wellington Club in the West Palm area and did a lot of outside work after I lost my card and worked on the ground. So, but
and you met a pretty special guy in the game of golf when it comes to training aids.
Yes, I did. Working at the Wellington Club, I met this fellow. His name was Mike Leahy, and every time I went out and played with him, he'd shoot anywhere from 67 to 71 every time. So him and I got to be good pals, and he worked for Dr. Gary Wyron. So after I left Wellington, I got on and started working, doing training aids and working for Gary, and a special guy. I worked for him for about 5 years, but I learned a lot about the game and a lot about the 1800s and such. When he has all the equipment like I talked about, you and I talked about.
And when a junior golfer walks in here, never played, and wants to take a lesson, what's your approach to a kid like that?
Jump up and help him up as fast as you can. Yeah, and any equipment, and giving the kids little balls, especially whether you give a sleeve of golf balls when the first time he goes out and the kid looks at you like it's gold. It's pretty precious.
How about as far as instruction in the actual golf swing?
Confidence, building them for the first part where you start a youngster as close to the cup as possible, and build them and slowly move away from it. I've always been as a junior, first thing a little kid wants to do is hit the ball long. Here, you don't want to give him a driver right off the bat. You give him a putter and start working 13, 14 inches away from him and start stroking the ball. When the ball hits the bottom of the cup, he gets enjoyment out of it and slowly go and move from there, and then and so on.
How about folks in their late 40s, 50s, women, men, that want to come to the game and learn it? How do you approach that type of student?
Well, one of the first things I ask, if the lady wants to learn, I say, do you want to learn, or do you want your husband or boyfriend to have you learn? Which I think is a big approach, because naturally, if the lady doesn't want to learn and the boyfriend does, she's not going to learn. But you get on to talking with them and get them into the game as they go on, and I kind of honestly think I'm a good teacher, because I go with the basics of whether they're, what size they are, large, medium, small, tall, so you go from there.
In your mind, the top 3 reasons people come to Cronin's Golf Resort?
Probably personality for my brother and I, and all the people that are here. People enjoy at the bar room area or out on the golf course. They cackle and laugh. Price point, naturally. We're not a real high-end golf course, but this golf course, for the price you pay, is in pretty good shape.
Got some great golf out there.
And short season, I think people get up here and the people that they talk to have some energy to them, instead of you drag on and you go into some shops that I've been into, the person just says, yeah, what do you need? Instead of, hey, how are you? You give them a little jump for their money.
Well, John, it's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having Andy's Golf and Travel Diary here, and you and your brother James have just been so much fun.
Thank you.